Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Great to have you with us on the show today, at least for the most part. Oh, all right. Last time I saw you, you were at the front of the line.
How about it?
With your bobblehead. I mean, I don't think I would have thrown women and children out of the way to get there.
Well, they ran into me completely. That's what it had to be.
It's just, I thought it was ugly to see. I just kind of turned my back. I didn't want to be a part of it. About 3,000 there last night.
Yeah, it's a good crowd, absolutely.
Really good crowd. No, a good weekend crowd all the way through. They've not drawn 80,000, and they have 9 dates remaining.
Yeah, a couple good dates remain too. So they're absolutely.
Yeah, they're on target. Off day yesterday for Penn State football. They did scrimmage in the stadium on Saturday. No, I am not going to give you the details of the scrimmage. That is not my job. Okay. You have to know when you're standing there what your job is and what your role is. Okay. As much as you want me to tell you something, that's not my job and not my role. Okay. That is James' job to tell you what he wants to tell you about what's going on. Okay. But I just feel like, I will say this in general, I just feel like every single day they've gone in the right direction. You want to see them going in the right direction as many days as possible. It's even better when it looks like they're going in the right direction every day. And that's how I look at them. I feel like every day they're going in the right direction. I've talked about this before, but it's important to reiterate it. Because I feel like you have to talk about how to build a team. I think it's important in this job to talk about. That way people understand what they're seeing, because you're telling them how a team in this era probably should be built. And this is what, instead of just saying, oh, let's talk about the quarterback. Who are the top tier quarterbacks? I mean, like, who really cares? I mean, it's like the Athletic. I realize you have to write articles.
Sure.
I understand that. So let's do this. Let's put out an article. Here are the top tier quarterbacks. You can say, I can't believe Jalen Hurts is that far down. I can't believe Lamar Jackson is in the top, or whatever. Okay. You have to write that stuff because
right.
You're looking for material to write about. But let's now talk about like something that determines winning and losing. So in college football, if you want to play a 16-game schedule, you have more options than a pro team does. But it really comes down to a lot of ways a pro team is built this way because they have 53 guys, right? Well, in college football, you need to have right around 50 players to play because you need 10 defensive backs. Now, the 10 defensive backs includes the nickel, which means that the 2 nickel guys in all likelihood are in the second, third team grouping at one position and maybe the second and third team positioning at the safety spot, right? Or they could both be corners, they could both be safety, whatever. But that nickel slot corner has to be included. So you need 10. You need 6 linebackers. I know Penn State will play a lot of 2s this year, but Penn State also will play some 3s this year. Okay? You need 6 linebackers. I think you need 5 defensive tackles. This is minimum. Minimum. You need 5 defensive ends. So on the defensive side, I would say that I can pick out the 5 defensive tackles. I can pick out the 6 linebackers. I can pick out the 10 defensive backs. Right? Now, if you can add anybody else into the mix, which I think there's some guys that are close and fighting for it, that's great. That's even more depth, but you need it. So defensive tackle, linebacker, defensive back spot, I can pick it out. I think, to me, there is more of a battle right now. I think you need 5 defensive ends. I think there's more of a battle right now to see whose numbers 4 and 5 happen to be. Good choices, by the way. Good choices. But that's not as set in my mind yet. I'm not coaching, so the coaches maybe have, obviously, they're the ones that, the players determine who plays, but the coaches are the ones that have to be convinced, not me. Offensive line, I think you need at least 8. Penn State's got that. I think you need 3 tight ends. Penn State has that. You need 4 running backs. Penn State has that. Okay? We all know the battles for the backup quarterback right now, but you need a second one because you never know if it's even for a series, like Drew Aller against Purdue in the opening game a couple of years ago, or if it's for a half, Bo Pribula, Wisconsin last year.
Right.
You have to have that guy. Then there's wide receiver. I feel you need 7 of them. And I'm pretty well settled in my mind on who 5 are, and probably actually pretty close to 6. But who might be that 7th guy? I mean, to me, that's what you need to negotiate a season, is that you need all these players because you know something may happen in a game and you may need somebody to close out the game, or you may need them for a couple of series while somebody's in the tent, or you may need them for a month, or you may need them for the rest of the season. But you need to have the depth possible. I mean, when BTN came in, I was talking with Yogi Roth. I talked briefly with Dave Revson, but I talked with Yogi Roth, and he said, "What are you looking at?" I said, "I'm mostly looking at 2s and 3s." He said, "I already know pretty much what the ones can do, so I'm looking at the 2s and 3s." And you need all these people to get through, and that's and James and his staff have recruited to this. And they've had roster retention to this. And that to me is like there's not enough talked about.
No.
About how many people you need. And the roster retention part's critical. I mean, you look at the 4 teams that made the Final Four last year. So let's just use them as an example. All of them had the same trait. All of them had roster retention and were selective in the transfer portal. I know you can sit there and go, oh, Ohio State, they got Caleb Downs, they got Howard. Right. Okay. They got Judkins and they got Simmons. But for the most part, those are the other guys that,
their leadership stayed, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
I mean, Carnell Tate was there. Buka was there. They
Buka on receiver,
Smith,
absolutely.
The tight end,
both running backs, or Henderson running back.
Henderson was there. These are all guys that they retained. Jack Sawyer was retained.
Yeah, that's the biggest part. Yeah,
JTT
and Sawyer both coming back.
Denzel Burke. I mean, these are all guys that came in day one. They added in. Sure, Caleb Downs is a high-profile transfer, who, by the way, I think paid great dividends for them. But everybody else on that side of the ball pretty much happened to be guys that they recruited. Right? Penn State roster, very, very selective on transfers. Very selective. Okay. Texas, because, I mean, you tried to work a little bit ahead just in case. So, did I waste my time on Texas? Sure I did. Right? Because I didn't play them. But Texas.
Sure.
Same thing. Roster retention all over the place with guys. Yeah, yours is a transfer. I got that. But, that was after a money grab from Ohio State, for 1 year. And, of course, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, Riley Leonard and a couple of other guys transferred in. But for the most part, that was a roster retention team. Georgia is a roster retention team. Right? That's where the foundation of what you're trying to do is in roster retention.
Absolutely.
If you were now, Rich Rodriguez is in a different situation at West Virginia. He comes in, takes the job. As soon as he takes the job, there are 35 to 40 names in the transfer portal. Well, that's a coaching change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is going to happen.
Right? So I'm not going to sit there and be critical of something like that. Guys elect to go in. I don't think you sat down with, hey, you guys are all gone.
Yeah.
But that's what you need today. And that's what they're trying to build within this training camp. Who are those 50 guys? It's not 22 guys.
Mm-mm.
Who are the 50 guys that should be getting some meaningful playing time during the course of a game?
Right.
And that's building a team. And you're trying to identify, okay, who are the top 10 to 12 defensive backs? Who are the top 6 linebackers? Maybe a 7th. Who are the top maybe 11 or 12 defensive linemen, if you can go that deep, or defensive linemen? Who are the top 10 offensive linemen? Who are the 3 top tight ends? Who are the best 7 or 8 wide receivers? You're going to run some guys out there. Okay?
Yeah.
In games, who are the top 4 running backs? Okay? And, of course, the quarterback situation. The kickers, you need your long snapper. You need to have your place kicker, your punter, your kickoff guy. And this is where a guy like Gabe Wosu comes in. Wosu, we know, is the kickoff guy. But if something happens, he's the backup punter. And guess what? He's actually pushing. He's done some really good things punting the ball. Oh, and by the way, have you seen Gabe as a place kicker? Right? So that you need depth there too. You just don't know. And in order to navigate a 16-game season, all those sleds you pushed in February and in early March, all those weights you lifted the entire season, because they do weight training during the season, all those weights you lifted during the season are to get you to make sure you're in prime shape to handle the season. But then you've got spring practice, you've got OTAs, to lose time. I'm just picking a term that people would understand. And then preseason to lead into a season. And the bottom line is, what's Penn State have? 126 guys, maybe 128 now, I don't know. But essentially, let's just say out of 105, half the roster has to be playing in order to navigate this. And again, this is not putting guys in at garbage time. Right? This is putting guys in the game, and it's done deliberately by James and his staff. They're so smart about how they've gone about this for years. Fourth quarter, somebody shows up out there, and you're like, oh, they put him in the game. All right. Because they want them out there in the thick of the game, and they're getting experience in the thick of the game. They've also proven in practice that they think they can handle it. But that's why you need, in the college game today, to somehow get through this thing, you need 50 guys. That's a starting point, the 50 guys. Sure. If you have 22 and you don't have anything beyond 22, you're going to have a problem. And a lot of people have very good starting 22s. A lot of people have very good starting 22s, but don't have much 23 through 44. Right?
I can't name one team that is ranked in the top 100 that's not going to have a top 22 guy go down.
Right.
It's going to happen.
And not only that, but you look at a lot of 22s.
You're going to tire out,
okay.
too. Yeah.
But you have a lot of 22s, for example, that are really good.
Sure.
Right. The problem is that once you get down to that next set, 23 to 32, you're like, we're still not. There's a fall off. When I'm talking about 50 guys, I'm talking about 50 guys where it's not just the 50 guys should be guys that are playing out there where there's no drop off when they get in the game. Maybe there's a slight one. There's certain reasons why guys are starting. There are also certain guys that in the biggest games where maybe the rotation gets pared back a bit. All right? It's like in college basketball. How many teams you see in the NCAA tournament have an 8-9-man rotation during the course of the regular season? Suddenly the rotation in the NCAA tournament 7. All right? So, you might get into a situation in postseason where maybe you've pared back the number a bit. Right? But it doesn't mean if something doesn't happen in that pared down situation that somebody can't step up because somebody got bumped up because they have a lot of playing time. But to get through the regular season, to get to the playoff, you need 50 guys. At least in my opinion.
No, I think so too. Yeah, there's no doubt. You're going to need that depth. You're going to need that really no drop-off either, as you said, I think in a lot of ways. Maybe a little bit, but I think when you look at it, first of all, the obvious, it's a long, grueling season.
Yes.
Guys are going to get tired. Guys are going to get hurt. You're going to need that guy that's going to step up when the other guy's having an off day.
Right.
Yeah, that's really where you need that depth. Also, to me, the buildup, you talk about retention, I think it's huge because there's a lot of factors now that come into a roster that you didn't maybe have even 3 or 4 years ago. First of all, the retention part of it I think is huge because you have that leadership back. You have no idea on a transfer coming in, no matter how talented they are, how they're going to adapt to the situation. You have the leadership in there that could say, okay, here is the Penn State way. Here's how we do it here.
Right.
And that leadership is going to help in a lot of ways.
You need messages from your peers, not just from the coaches.
Not just from the coaches, absolutely. And the other part of it, the obvious with NIL, you're not really finding that diamond in the rough anymore because there's so much competition at this point. People know. Right. You're not really finding those guys that are just very, very, very unknown. Does it happen? Yes. Not like it used to 5 years ago. I think that you're seeing guys come in that it's just such a strict competition anymore to get somebody from the transfer portal that it's a lot tougher. And that's a big reason why I think retention is extremely important even more.
Now let's talk about the others that maybe not make the top 50. That doesn't mean you don't have a lot of talent.
Part. Yeah, and they're also still a big part of the team.
You're still trying to get yourself into that 50.
Yeah, absolutely.
In October, you're still trying to get yourself in the 50. In November, you're still trying to get yourself into the 50. And I've seen many times, where they're like looking at somebody on the, quote, developmental squad, and they'll look at him and go, you know what? You're showing me you should be up with the other group.
Yeah.
Right? Or you're one of the 74 that needs to travel.
Yeah.
Right? You can win your way up through what you're doing. Say you're not in a position yet, through experience or whatever, to win your way up. Guess what? If you have really good athletic scout teams, you can make life miserable and educational for those who are playing. Like, wow, he really covered me.
And also,
he really covered me again. Wow, he beat me off the edge, got to the quarterback.
Yeah,
there's a lot of talent out there that may not have experience to this point. It's just not their time yet.
Right.
Yet they can make the team exponentially better by what they're doing on a developmental squad, while at the same time maybe furthering their cause to be one of those players that makes the 74-man travel roster and may play on the, and I'm talking about offense, defense. There are guys that some of these guys are going to mix in on special teams and so forth, to go beyond 50.
Right.
Right? Which is where you can get valuable experience.
Yeah.
But that's what you need in today's college game. You need all of that.
Absolutely. I think the other part of it, too, with the other 50, the other 74, you're looking at guys that everybody in some capacity can bring something to a team. I think that's the biggest part of it. You look at a guy that may be on the scout team that, let's just say, Penn State's playing Nevada. Can somebody imitate Purdy better than anybody else on the scout team?
Sure.
That helps the team dramatically because now you're prepared for the style of play that you're going to have in an opposing quarterback. So everything that these guys bring helps the team one way or another.
Yeah, there's no question. So team, roster, and participation building, right? You're trying to identify. You're not trying to identify, who should start.
No.
Right? Now, maybe there's a couple of positions where,
where it's
okay,
competition a little bit, but yeah.
Well, no, you've got competition everywhere.
Yeah.
But to me, the starting thing is a great status thing, all right? And I think if you're starting, that tells me when they pare down the roster, when they, you go to a big game and maybe they're paring down reps, they're not paring your reps, okay?
No.
Right? No. Okay. But, as you go through the season, you're going to need all these guys, right? And that's why, it's hard to lose somebody like a Max Granville. It's hard to lose that person. Now, when we're talking about 5 defensive ends, he's one of the 5 defensive ends.
Absolutely.
But he's not going to be a part of the mix in this particular year, but down the road he will be. But that's how I look at a roster now. That's how I look at a roster. Who are those 50 people that will be the primary players, not 22? Right? And I think that's important. That's important. Now, after that, okay, the other 55 guys, quote, invaluable of those 55 guys. So you got to, all 4 specialists are going. So, so you're at 54. Who are the other 20 guys out of those, okay? Out of those, 51?
Mm-hmm.
Who are the 20 out of the 51 that will be a part of the travel squad, which means there's a chance a bunch of them are going to be on special teams, punt cover, kickoff return, things like that. Excuse me. That are a part of what's going on. And that's what the roster, that's what I'm looking at a preseason. There's always a different take on how things are done today than maybe how they were done 25 years ago.
Right.
And Penn State, for the most part, is always, except for 12, 13, 14, and 15.
Yeah, obviously.
Penn State's always had
a little bit there.
Incredible depth. And it's made a big difference. It made a big difference in Joe's teams. It's making a huge difference in James Franklin's teams. And it's not just thinking about 26, 27, and 28. It's about now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's about now. So that's where, to me, they are at this time. Now, there's a lot of work to go in training camp. A lot of work to go. It's going to be a big week for them this week. It is also the last day of classes will be Wednesday. The last day of finals will be Friday. Okay? So the class part of it does enter into it. So last day of class is Wednesday. Last day of finals will be Friday. Finals were those things that you used to take at the end of the semester.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually the only class you showed up for, right?
There were, believe it or not, plenty of people that did do that, which I could never figure out. I'll never forget. I had, if you had a small enough class, it was funnier because you had the professor that would recognize the faces. And, I'm seeing faces I've never seen before. You're in this class. You're in this class. Now, granted, obviously, those that did not attend Penn State, there are classes where the professor would have no idea whether or not you were there or not.
Well,
but
Dr. Greg Billy was with football.
Yeah.
And is one of the great physician and an absolutely great guy. I mean, absolutely great. Great guy. I kid him all the time, but I think he's tremendous. Teaches a class in the Forum, I think. And he's got 200 to 300 students in there.
Yeah, there's some classes that have that.
Yeah. And he does a weekly quiz in there. But, man, I just don't. I keep asking him all the time. I say, Greg, how do you do this?
I don't either.
How do you do this? But he's done it for years, and he gets it done. I give him all the credit in the world. I don't think it's something I could do.
No.
Nope. Yeah.
No.
In fact, I know it's something I could not.
No,
because part of the reason why I know it's something I couldn't do is I would have no desire to do it. There's no desire to do it. I'd walk in and go, I gotta grade all these people? Are you nuts?
Man, I hope that machine doesn't fail me.
Oh, man.
You use the number 2 pencil, right? Machine, all of you? Yes, okay.
Machine, don't fail me now. Don't fail me now, machine. You walk into the Forum, you're like going, oh, my God, there's more people here than a Mets game.
Pirates, for sure. That's why they always gave the running joke. I don't even know. It's bad I don't know this, but I don't even know what the score of an SAT is nowadays. Is it 24? Is it back to 16?
I think it's back to 16.
Back to 16?
Back to 16.
But yeah, I remember that we took the SATs. They used to say, oh, you get 200 for writing your name on it. Not technically not. You got to do it correctly to get the 200 points. Which you'd be surprised how many people didn't do it correctly.
Yeah. I got my name wrong. It's not a good start. Just an
bubble
opinion.
in the chart. There you go.
Because your name is not actually Jason Lord. It's actually all right. The Shedeur Sanders is going to be the talk of what happened over the weekend.
Absolutely.
That and Cam Little. Cam Little, did kick against Penn State in the Outback Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I watched some of him on tape, and I thought, geez, this guy's really good. In terms of I just thought he was really good. They'll be able to get some points out of that guy. Well, he kicked the 70-yard field goal, which I think freaked everybody out. It's now, does it count in the record book? No.
No, unfortunately
it's a preseason game. It's all right. But, of course, there's Shedeur Sanders. Look, you have to give somebody credit where credit's due. He played well.
Sure.
Right?
I agree.
Credit where credit's due. He played well. There's no need to take any shots at him. Now, at the same time, when you are a rookie, Jackson Dart had a really good game for the Giants.
Yeah, he did.
Okay? But does that mean Jackson Dart now is the starter for the Giants? No, Jackson Dart needs to go out and just, build upon that, make his next performance better, right? In other words, take advantage of the playing time, right? Shedeur Sanders the same way. There's no difference there.
Right.
It is the same way. And he played very well through a couple touchdowns. He only got sacked twice, I think, in the game. Didn't throw an interception. Played with confidence. Looked like he knew exactly what he was doing out there. Great. Because the pro level, the speed is just so much greater.
Different.
And he handled
absolutely.
the speed with great ease. Now, that doesn't mean, the next time out, there could be some pitfalls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You don't know. Or the next time out, he builds upon that and plays just as well, if not better. But there shouldn't be any criticism of what he did, nor should it be overboard about what he did, because he went out there and played really well. Okay? And now we'll see what he does the next time out, especially in a quarterback competition, which is what they have in Cleveland. I mean, Gabriel couldn't play, Pickett couldn't play, Huntley did play, and Flacco didn't play. I don't know if Flacco was available or not.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure. But anybody who sit back and go, well, don't brush it off.
Yeah.
I think he was in a position where a lot of people wanted to see him fail. Well, he far from failed. Yeah. He played really, really well.
Yeah.
Does that mean the Cleveland quarterback situation is solved? No. It's one preseason game. I mean, the Giants quarterback situation isn't solved. It's going to be Russell Wilson's going to be the starter, right? But Jackson Dart played well, right? It's kind of lost in the shuffle that he played well because of what Sanders did, but Dart played very well. So it gives you kind of hope as to what you might have in that spot. Now let's see how it follows up. Other than that, those are the only takeaways really from the preseason that are worth talking about. And I know Landon Dickerson got hurt.
Yeah, that could be a big one. And carted off too.
I mean, you're talking about a 3-time Pro Bowler who has stepped in and he's been terrific at guard. If they need him to play center, he could. They don't need him to. But on an offensive line that is dynamic.
I think another point with the Eagles that sometimes it's overlooked because of how well Jalen Hurts has played. But I think as a backup quarterback, I think you have your backup in Tanner McKee. I think he's played real well when he's had the chance to play.
He's done a good job.
Yeah, I think he's played absolutely done a heck of a job. Obviously, his only regular season game was in a game that really didn't have high meaning, but he still had regular season snaps. I think that sometimes gets overlooked where it gives you confidence that, okay, if Jalen Hurts does go down, then I'm in. I think you have to have that confidence that he can do it.
Look, last year he played in the preseason. Everybody's like, wow. I'm like, okay, it's the preseason. Well, guess what? When he got into a game, he kind of played the same way.
Played great against Dallas, yeah.
Right? Against Dallas, he kind of played the same way he did in the preseason. I give him a lot of credit because you're not out there getting first-team snaps.
No.
During
and the Bengals had a lot of their first
the course
team
of the week in practice,
on the field in the first
snaps.
Possession or two.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're looking for something like that. Shuck down at New Orleans had mixed results. Okay. But it's the preseason.
Right.
So it's not you don't take it with a grain of salt because you have to give credit where credit is due for playing well. Well, guess what? Shooter Sanders played well.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well, guess what? That's better than having him play poorly.
Yeah.
Right? It's like McKee last year. He played really well. Well, guess what? You felt better about your backup quarterback situation because he did.
Sure.
Right? The Phillies are playing great.
Absolutely.
And the Pirates are just treading water. I mean, I don't know. It's there really isn't much positive to say about them. I think they've got some starting pitchers that are pretty good. Obviously, Skeens is one of the top 5 pitchers in all of baseball. I mean, you can argue 1 through 5 as to where you think it ought to be. You think he's 1, then fine, you got an argument. But there's so little around these guys. I mean, so little around these guys. And that they're in last place for a reason. Then you look at Milwaukee. Milwaukee continues to play great baseball. They rallied and beat the Mets yesterday. And the Mets, on the other hand, I think have lost now 7 in a row.
7 in a row, yeah.
And what have they lost? 12 of 13?
Yeah, 12 of 13,
like
5.5 back now in the division.
Meanwhile, the Yankees are the same way. The Yankees aren't playing well.
No.
The Yankees and the Mets have the same record since the All-Star break. That's not good.
No.
That's not good. Now, Aaron Boone was ejected for the 5th time this season in yesterday's game and now leads the majors in that department. So the Yankees are number 1 in one area. Max Fried got lit up yesterday. That will happen from time to time. It's going to happen with everybody. It's happened to Skeens over the years. It has happened to Crochet over the years. It's happened to everybody.
Sure.
Right? It's happened to Nathan Eovaldi, who's having a great year. It's happened to Jacob deGrom. Everybody gets lit up at some point, but Fried got lit up yesterday. One quick note about Jen Powell, first female umpire in a Major League Baseball game. She worked the doubleheader on Saturday in the Marlins and Braves, and she was behind the plate yesterday for the Marlins and the Braves. You do know that Jen Powell umpired games here at Medler Field, Lebrano Park. Right? She's been here. She is a tremendous example of somebody who has worked her way to get to this point and has earned every step that she has received. Now, I am not going to sit here and pretend to know whether at any point along the way in her ascension to the major leagues, whether she was held back by being a woman or not, I have zero idea. All I know is that when she worked here, I thought she was a heck of an umpire. I was like, yeah, she's really good. Right? That's about all I thought. Like, hey,
Right.
She's really good. I mean, there's certain guys in this league, for example, I'll tell you, MLB draft league, Albert Jones. I think Albert Jones is an excellent umpire. Now, there are a series of guys who I look out and go, oh, my God, what are we going to do tonight? Right? Sure there are. Right? You watched her, and there were several guys in the New York Penn League, right, along with her that I thought were really good. She was one of them. But she played softball at Hofstra. She then umpired softball for years. And then finally, it was around 16, maybe at 16, she got into the umpire camp. And she started working her way up. She earned this weekend. Right? She paid her dues to get to this weekend. And guess what? She's good at her job. She's good. And this is, we can talk about trendsetter, paving the way for others and so forth. She paved the way with hard work. She worked at her craft. Right? And that's why moving forward, one of the requirements Major League Baseball has when you are putting together your minor league infrastructure is that you not only have to have the clubhouse and the weight room and the lounge and things like that, but there must now be a female locker room. And by the way, Medler Field, Lebrano Park has that. You must have a female locker room. It could be a member of the coaching staff. Remember, the Yankees had a coach, a woman. It was part of the coaching staff with I think it was their Tampa team.
Tampa team, yep.
Right, in the Florida Gulf Coast League. It may be a staff member, could be a coach, could be an umpire. You have to have that female locker room now. And this is something that when they transitioned to the 120, it was mandated moving forward because they expect more women to be in there. Right? You have women officiating in the NBA and have for years.
Sure.
And have been really good. You've had women officiating in the NFL and college football. Right? You have women officiating in men's college basketball now. I mean, there was one that worked, I think she worked 3 or 4 games last year Penn State games. She did a great job. She's fine. I think the most important part is you're like, when it's over with, do you notice them? Nope. Okay. I noticed when she walked out because she's the first referee I've seen in the Jordan Center had a ponytail. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's the first time. Okay, great. Game's over. Notice her? Nope. Great job. Next game. Notice her? Nope. Great job. Okay. It's like anybody else. Right? Paul Sells comes in. Do you notice him? Nope. That means they did a great job.
Right.
I talked to Lamont Simpson in practice. Lamont Simpson does both football and basketball. So Lamont and I know each other a little bit from the basketball time, and but he does a lot of work, back judge work, and so forth. So I was talking to him about points of emphasis that they're looking for out there. That way it would help the broadcast. And same thing with Lamont. I always thought Lamont did a really good job. Doesn't mean he makes a bad call once in a while. Everybody makes bad calls once in a while. I don't worry about that. I always have a standard when it comes to officiating, umpiring, whatever you want to talk about. So just officiating in general.
Yeah.
Okay. The really difficult calls. If you miss it, it's really difficult for a reason. Okay. That happens. You have to have the ability to make the easy calls and not botch up don't mess up the easy calls. Okay?
Yeah.
After that, if you can handle the easy and the routine stuff, that's fine. Everybody thinks they can handle the easy and the routine stuff. A lot of people can't. Right? But you got to be able to handle that first at this level. Then it's the difficult ones like, okay, let's separate good from great. And to her, again, she paid her dues to get to this point. She earned her spot in the majors. And I hope she sticks around in it for a long time. It sounds like she did a great job. The reviews have been high, and look, and guess what? She's going to, who knows how the fans have treated her over the years? I've never heard of any problem with any, but I'm up in the booth too, so I don't know. I'm up in the booth. I'm not like down in the second row of the stands and hearing people, hey, you. It sounded very well maybe like that. So, but good for I'm thrilled for her. I think it's, and it's good for the game.
Agreed.
It shows that talent is everywhere, and you should be tapping talent wherever you can find talent. She's talented, so good for her. The 49ers. This is the part of the show where you take over this disaster. It's like saying that there's a little blaze over there. I need a firefighter.
Well, obviously you're not going to see much out of their first preseason game. Nobody really played. I think that was one of the biggest parts, but yeah, it's similar to what you talked about with Penn State. I'm kind of looking at a lot of roster spots. I'm looking at running back being one. They're battling injuries. Jordan James is injured. Isaac Guerendo's hurt. Brought Jeff Wilson back. Yeah, you're seeing guys behind Christian McCaffrey. What can they do?
Well, fortunately, he's durable.
That's exactly why I'm looking at what the guys behind Christian McCaffrey can do. But obviously, and then the biggest thing for them is what can they do after last year. Last year was obviously a tough year. You had distractions in camp. You have them once again at the wide receiver position. Seems like a yearly occurrence.
So in other words, you're hoping that the other three teams in the division have a lot of people on the IL.
A lot of people in the IL or just have some really bad games.
That's your strategy.
That's part of it.
That's your strategy.
That's part of it.
By the way, did you see the Bengals went out and played their starters for the first two series against the Eagles because they feel like there's a need to get off to a better start.
Yeah,
in September.
absolutely, and they're right.
And by the way, Carolina, the subplot of Carolina playing Cleveland, besides Shedeur Sanders, is that they did the same thing with Bryce Young.
Yeah.
So there were more starters out there.
Yeah.
This weekend than I think I expected.
I think people are seeing, number one, I think people are seeing exactly what you said with the Bengals. The starts are not good. The month of September is not good football, period. And the other thing is more teams are having joint practices, yes, but those joint practices aren't going to entirely show what a preseason game is going to show you. I think that's the other part of it. That's where the joint practice, I feel like roster evaluation-wise, preseason games, in-game action is going to show you a little bit more.
Yeah. Johnstown, Pennsylvania, by the way, winning the Little League Softball World Series, won 1-0 over a team from Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. The guys were watching it in the clubhouse.
That's what I was watching it waiting in line. Yep.
And what a great moment, great wins. The first time a team from Pennsylvania has won it since 1978. And the Little League World Series on the baseball side is now getting ready to get started in its 2-week run in Williamsport, in which will bring thousands to South Williamsport to watch it. And it's one of the great events.
Yes, it is.
And but it's also an event where some people have taken it too seriously.
Yeah, they have.
And I'm talking,
and you're not just talking fans.
Right. I'm talking, the games themselves are meant to be serious because you're out there and you're playing to win.
Yeah.
All right? I got that. But there's been too many times over the years where they've had to fight off some controversy about
absolutely
how the team was built, put together, where the players are from, things like that.
No doubt.
It means that much to you?
It's been that way for 30-plus years, unfortunately. It really has.
And I'm talking about the small, there's a small group that do it. They're ruining it for everybody.
Absolutely.
They've been able to overcome
people have been
all
stripped
that.
of championships and stripped of games because of it. It's happened for too long.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that there's a lot of things that come to the Little League World Series that are special. Look, there are some sports fans, and you can't tell them otherwise. Pro athletes are overpaid. I'm not watching these guys anymore. They're not worth my time. And they watch Little League World Series. That's all they watch. And that's a big part of it. And I think the emphasis, you talk about what they do to rosters that end up getting them in trouble. The other part of it is from a fan's perspective. I think Jim Palmer made the ultimate point of points when you go back to whenever Long Beach, California won it. So it was the 90s. And I remember, clutch situation, bases loaded, somebody struck out, and he said, hey, look, when in doubt, guys, fans, these are little leaguers. I think that is the biggest thing, that the point that has to be made over and over and over again. They will have a bright future ahead of them. That is only the start of their future.
Sure.
Yeah, that is not the end of their future. They are not in the big leagues.
Look,
you have to understand that.
It doesn't really matter in life
where
you are when you're 15.
Nope.
Okay? Now, you want to improve all the time,
sure.
Be the best you can be, because being someplace, setting yourself up at 15 helps set you up down the road. But it doesn't matter in life when you're 15. It starts to matter a lot more when you're 25.
When you're 25, sure.
It really kicks in now. When you're 35. Where are you in life? Right?
Absolutely.
Okay? Are you going well or it's struggling? Matters when you're 45, 55. 15, not so much. You're still a kid.
Nope.
Okay, 12, you're still a kid. 11, you're still a kid. It's a kid's game.
Right.
and you still should be allowed to play a kid's game. Now, are they playing at a high level, or are they drilled over and over and over again? But when you hear about stories about, well, he really isn't from this town, I'm like going, oh, for God's sakes, why?
Or he's not 12.
Right?
That's the worst one of all.
The Danny Almonte thing.
It's happened in the Philippines quite a few times. They get stripped of championships.
Why?
Yeah. And
why do you think that that's even worth it? Why?
No,
it's a kid's game.
It's a kid's game. Yeah, it's a kid's game. It's fun.
I'm glad they've expanded it. I'm glad they've allowed Cuba in. I'm glad. I guess the Venezuela team. People are there's going to be problems. They had no problem getting in. They're here. No. Senator Dave McCormick stepped up along with the
absolutely
Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, stepped up, and they cleared the pathway for them to get in. They're not going to get in. No, they got in. It's like, okay, no big deal.
An experience for these kids too. I think in a lot of ways is one they're never going to forget. Obviously, you've worked your butt off at that point to get to the Little League World Series. Yeah. The other part of it, the outside part of it, you start to learn a little bit responsibilities in a lot of ways. Not only on the field, but unless it's changed from the time I played Little League, which I don't think it has, you have host parents or host families that welcome you in. And I think that obviously it's a little bit different when you get to Williamsport, but you learn a lot of responsibilities when you have to do that. There's no question about it. I think that ties to it as well. And first of all, those families sacrifice a lot to bring you in.
Oh,
and
how about the coaches? They're getting work off left and right.
Oh, absolutely.
To do this.
Yeah, no question about it. Not a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, you learn so much from it, from the experience. And you talk about when you're 15, it's not being 25 or 35. And as strange as it is to say, sometimes movies do tell you a story. Yeah. You go back to the Mighty Ducks. I think you look at the second one. Not exactly the greatest sports movie of all time, but Adam Banks gets hit on the wrist, can't rotate the stick, and Emilio Estevez says you're young, you're going to have plenty of shots. You don't want to, then that's absolutely, well, obviously, Hoosiers tells a much better story. Major League tells a much better story.
Ollie
tells a much tells a much better story. But point being, when you're a young kid, look, it is have fun. And my point to you is have fun. It is not the be all end all. It's have fun with it. Do not let the outside distractions bother you. Enjoy it because it's an experience that you're not going to forget.
No question about that. So just wish that people would just take it in the spirit of what it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And look, it's permeated itself into other areas. Look, I know people have to make their own decisions and so forth. But when I hear stories about people changing school districts, changing schools, I'm like going, really?
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you're any good, people will find you.
Absolutely. That nowadays, 1,000% will find you. There are many avenues to find someone.
I mean, the regional schools. Now I realize what the parochial schools.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Essentially, they can recruit.
Yeah, which they do. And they'll tell you they don't, but they do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
You got to be kidding me.
The other thing with Williamsport also is, and I haven't been there. It's been a couple of years since I've been there, but everything from the experience with the fans too. The concession prices are cheap. I think that's one of the.
They treat it like a little league game.
Absolutely.
If you go over here to just down the road here on Bristol, to the fields there. The prices there are the same prices as Williamsport.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the best. But that's one of the great parts of it too. Without question, the experience is entirely there. Look, you go, you get a beverage
now the parking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, get there very early. Don't park on the interstate. Yeah, the parking can be better. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, there's absolutely. And game programs, concessions, everything experience-wise for the fans is sensational. It's affordable. Yeah, look, let's be honest. The professional sports, there are a lot of fans are priced out anymore. There's no doubt about it at this point. And it's... You drink a beverage that these kids have to wait.
The bottom line is you go to a 49ers game, the 49ers are ripping you off every chance,
sure
including
are.
the product on the field.
That's right. You sure are. You go to Lincoln Financial Field, you drink a beverage that these kids have to wait 9 years, allegedly, to sample.
Yeah, right.
That's your $18 in the hole. Right. And that's absolutely... and that's just the point. I think the experience, the affordability, there's so much to Little League Baseball, this Little League World Series, that makes it so much fun.
No, it's great. And they do a great job. Look, they do a great job. The people running the event have no control over how the teams got there. Zero.
No, absolutely not.
The people running the event in South Williamsport do an absolutely phenomenal job. Phenomenal job.
Right.
Are there going to be bad calls by the umpires?
Oh, of course.
Of course. But those are volunteers, too. They're not getting paid to be out there.
No.
They're doing it for the love of it.
No.
I give them credit because it's always fun for me when we go to Williamsport for games because they do bring the teams over. So you do get a chance to meet the teams. I mean, I've been brought down to talk to the teams before, and it's a lot of fun. I know they asked you to talk to the team from Uruguay a couple of years ago because none of them understood English, and you made sense to them.
I made sense to them.
Like, what?
Jeez.
What the heck was that?
Somebody's setting fireworks or something off out there.
Wow. I told you not to park there. You just don't listen to me. Okay? Okay. I mean, you know, I said don't park down there, right? Exposing your vehicle like that, where let's face it, yeah, a lot of people are jealous of you.
I knew the second somebody said,
"A lot of people are jealous."
They might be.
I saw you at the front of the bobblehead line, and I thought, God, that's an important dude. Sure, somebody looked at it and thought it was sad.
I was going to say, that's an important dude some people might have thought, but the other ones were looking at it like, man.
I walked in. I had to go down to the field to do the pregame. I looked over. He was at the front. I just looked over and shook my head. I mean, you weren't just in line. You were
the
first
front of the
in line. You and your brother. And your brother's like standing there like going,
yeah.
Nope. All right, there's another one in the books. All right.